In an episode of AEW Dynamite that saw barbed wire sandwiches, chair shots in the head like it was 1999, and a man being threatened to be burned to death in the middle of a wrestling match, I want to sit here and talk about what I consider to be the best feud in wrestling right now, and that is Mariah May and Toni Storm. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you. And before I get too deep into that, I just want to take a moment to recognize how far women's wrestling has come in the United States. If you remember growing up for me, women's matches mainly were used for piss breaks or just a few minutes to show off women in scampy outfits. And the fact that in the last couple of years, we've seen women main event WrestleMania, we see women main event AEW Dynamite, and we've just seen this renaissance of women's sports in general in this country. Shout out to Caitlin Clark and my boy Robin Lundberg. It's a beautiful thing to see and something that I hope to continue to see just to inspire the next generation of women's wrestling and just to inspire the next generation of little girls seeing things like that. It's something really nice to see. But back to the task at hand. If you noticed in this episode of AEW Dynamite, outside of the death-defying stunts in the blood and guts match, the biggest pop of the night was for the segment between Toni Storm and Mariah May, where we saw Toni Storm return and we saw the pull-apart brawl between these two women. And the reason for that is I believe that this is something that a lot of wrestling fans like to point out and say is AEW's Achilles heel, and that is storytelling. And that's something that I've never really prescribed to, because if you've watched AEW since its inception, they've had many compelling storylines. You got CM Punk versus MJF. You got Christian versus Adam Copeland. You got the current storyline between Hangman and Swerve. So they've had plenty of stories if you watch the show. But this story that they have been telling is one of those situations where it has all the elements of a great, compelling storyline. You had long-term storytelling. You got big stakes, which is the AEW Championship. You got two great athletes, which is Toni Storm and Mariah May, which I'm sure they're going to have a very kick-ass match at All In. And all of these elements coming together is why I consider this to be the best feud in wrestling today. Doesn't matter a genre, doesn't matter a gender, it doesn't matter if it's dealing with the men or the women. It is the best storyline in wrestling today, in my opinion. And this is something that I feel like is really a good thing for AEW, because it puts a spotlight on another weakness that they have been accused of, and that's their poor booking of the women's division. They currently have a bunch of different storylines going on with the women's division that doesn't even involve the title, the main title. You got the thing with Mercedes Moné and DMD Britt Baker, which is for the TBS championship. And then you got this feud that has been going on Collision and Rampage between Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. This is something that I feel like has been brewing for the last couple of months. And in another previous video that I did, I credit to Jennifer Pepperman. And I believe this does have her fingerprints on it as well. But this is something that I feel like AEW really needs. And if you compare the build towards All In that AEW has this year compared to their build that they had last year, the storytelling towards this build is 10 times better. And it's not even a conversation just how much that they have improved in that department in the last couple of weeks. But give me your thoughts in the comment section. What do you consider to be the best feud in wrestling today? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Tell me why. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, I am Kevin Zwicker. I'm out.